What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
another day at the office, I get to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can see all of Nicole's work at typingwhentipsy.wordpress.com. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, MikeMercado2333.
What is going on, friends? Welcome into this episode of Sports from the Couch on the Mercado Airwaves Network. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, and I want to thank you so much for making us a part of your day. We have a jam-packed show for you guys. The Chicago Bears are the kings of the North as they beat the Green Bay Packers and win the NFC North. We break down everything that was the NFL in Week 15 and the craziness that is the NFL playoff picture. And in case you missed it, I was privileged to interview the man herself, former WWE SmackDown Live Women's Champion Becky Lynch, about her rivalry with Ronda Rousey, a potential main event at WrestleMania, and so much more. So grab that snack and get that cold beer. It is time for Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves. Don't forget, you can support us all over the universe. I'm on Twitter at mmercado2333. You can follow the network on Twitter as well at Mercado Airwaves. If you're a fan of us here, follow Nicole on Twitter at typingwhentipsy. You can follow Alex at Mercado21Alex. And you can follow our pop culture show, The Good Brothers, on Twitter at GoodBrothersPod. We're all on Instagram. Give us a follow. I'm at Mike Mercado2333. Nicole's at typingwhentipsy. You can follow Alex at Mercado2121. And you can follow our true crime show on Instagram at Murder Mysteries and more. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Mike Mercado2333, or search Mercado Airwaves Network. Comment and be part of the conversation every single time we upload a show or an interview. Come play video games with us, guys. twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Download us, like, review, and share us anywhere you get your favorite podcast, on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Podbean, anywhere in the universe at Mercado Airwaves. If you would like to hear our interviews ad-free and before anybody else with athletes and celebrities, just like Becky Lynch, go to patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, and we have a tier just for you. And of course, a huge shout out to Munch Art Design for powering us here at Mercado Airwaves. Give them a like on Facebook at Munch Art Design. We have a busy show today. Let's get to it here on Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves. I'm Mike Mercado.
If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can see all of Nicole's work at typingwhentipsy.wordpress.com. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, MikeMercado2333.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
Another day at the office, I get to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show.
Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
After 10 long years, the Chicago Bears are finally the king of the NFC North as they beat the Green Bay Packers 24-17 in Soldier Field to take their record at 10-4 and to win the NFC North. Long time coming and awesome game, just a crazy season. So why don't we break down this big win against the divisional rival Green Bay Packers, who fall to 5-8-1. You have Mitch Trubisky going 20 for 28, 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Howard got the ball 19 times for 60 yards and a touchdown. Tariq Cohen carried the ball 5 times for 21 yards. Mitch Trubisky moved the ball along a little bit, rushed for about 16 yards. And Allen Robinson, 3 catches. Adam Shaheen, 2 big catches. Trey Burton, 4 big catches and a touchdown. You had Tariq Cohen with a big touchdown and a big return on special teams. Why don't we talk about the superstars that were in that defense? Leonard Floyd, 2 sacks. Khalil Mack, 2.5 sacks, and one of them was with his own back. Eddie Jackson with a huge interception. Hopefully he was seen walking with a walking boot on yesterday, so hopefully he's okay, but that was kind of the downer of that game. But what is showing by the Chicago Bears team? And that's the thing, is when you look at over into the Green Bay side, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, 25-42, 275 yards, and an interception. But not just an interception in the red zone. Jamal Williams was able to rush one in for a touchdown, but Aaron Jones got hurt. And this Green Bay team looks like they're kind of in a downward spiral. No, I don't know if this is sustainable. Like, I think that organization is too well run and has too many pieces to go into obscurity. I will say this is the biggest problem if you're a Green Bay Packers fan, right, for a second, is Aaron Rodgers on the downside of his illustrious great career? I mean, will he always be a consistent top-tier quarterback? I think so. I mean, Eli Manning's still in the league. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the league that shouldn't be in there, and Aaron Rodgers will always be a top tier. But that Aaron Rodgers that was accurate on the run, that was... I just had that swag that nobody else with 2 minutes left and you needed to run that 2-minute drill down the field to win a game. There's nobody you'd rather have. And even then, you saw that he has that in him. Like, he could take anybody. He could go up against anybody and take any player down the field and beat your team single-handedly. But as he's getting older and as the roster's changing, it doesn't seem like that's keeping up. When you move to the NFC North champions now in the Chicago Bears, I mean, you look at Trubisky, since he's come back from the injury, he's looked a little bit better, looks a little bit more calm, looks to set his feet better, looks to be making stronger throws, more accurate throws. They're feeding the ball to Jordan Howard more. And for the most part, it's the one thing we've been talking about all season long. They've been relatively healthy. Now, they've had injuries throughout the season, obviously with Khalil Mack and Mitch Trubisky and so on and so forth. They've had a lot of injuries, but they haven't had the catastrophic injury yet. Knocking on wood if you're a Bears fan. I mean, you look at a lot of teams in the NFL who have just been decimated by injuries. That Atlanta Falcons secondary is a great example of a team that should have been there, and they're not in the division race anymore. So we're moving forward then. At this point, you've seen and we're going to mention it over during our breakdown of Week 15 and the NFL standings later on the show here on Sports from the Couch, but with the LA Rams losing now 2 straight, you're right in there as the 3rd seed for the Bears to be able to really make a play at that 2nd seed in the playoffs. And it's the one thing I think all of us have mentioned if you're talking about, can the Bears make real noise? If you have to come to Chicago in January and play that defense, and if that offense is up to task, they don't even have to be spectacular. As long as that offense isn't bad, this Bears team can win a Super Bowl. And I never thought we would say that. I thought this team, I'll be honest with you, I thought this team was a 6-10 team at minimum, maybe a 9-7 at best. And that's just because the NFL always turns from worst to first. And it happened. The Bears are worst to first. It finally happened. They were that team in that rotation. So when it comes to potential playoff matchups, if for some reason you don't make it to the 2nd seed in the NFC, and you are playing on Wild Card Weekend, you definitely want Carolina, or you definitely want Washington, or whatever mess is coming out of the NFC East. And it'd be nice to get one of those teams at home. That's a big thing. And Washington on their 4th quarterback, not really a lot of offensive weapons. Dallas at any given day could lay an egg. Philadelphia has a quarterback with a broken back. So you definitely want that NFC East team, but more than anything, you want that bye. You want that bye week in the NFL playoffs. You want to get as healthy as possible. And you're in a position now where you have the tiebreaker against the Rams. And whatever happens at week 16 while you're both playing NFC West matchups, I mean, the Bears are playing the Niners at San Francisco, and you have the Rams taking on the Cardinals. We've seen what the Cardinals can do. They've beaten the Packers. The 49ers just beat the Seahawks. Speaking of the Seahawks, that's funny because just last week I was mentioning I don't want to play the Seahawks in the first round of the playoffs. But after seeing that, anything can happen. Now, I guess the real question then becomes, what is the easiest road to the Super Bowl for the Bears? And is that easy even real? Because eventually it leads to the Rams and or the Saints. But I think, honestly, I think the Bears can be in a position where they might have the Rams number. And I think that's just because they match them athleticism-wise on offense, scheme-wise. They kind of just, and you have Vic Fangio playing against Shaq McVay when it comes to great minds. So, like, I trust that matchup. That New Orleans matchup is a little different, though. Because we're talking about, yeah, Sean Payton and Fangio would be a great matchup against each other when it comes to coaching styles. You know, the offensive coordinator, the head coach, offensive coordinator, and the defensive coordinator for the Bears. But here's the thing. Jared Goff is the one under the center for the Rams. Awesome young quarterback. It's a difference, though, between him and Drew Brees. So if you're in the Superdome, in the NFC Championship game, and it comes down to the mind of Jared Goff or the mind of Drew Brees, and you're either in the Coliseum or you're in the Superdome, you'd rather be in the Coliseum in that scenario. You've already shaken that cage of Jared Goff. It's not going to be that easy with Drew Brees. But then again, we've seen it against Dallas, and we just saw it this past Monday night. That offense can be stopped in certain scenarios. That's just how the NFL plays out. Anybody can be got on a certain weekend. Now, what is the one downside to this Bears team making a Super Bowl run? And it's the one thing that's been the Achilles heel of this team, if you could say it's an Achilles heel. It's all in the play of Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, we saw it on this past game where Coach Nagy has cojones, right? So they can definitely lose a game on his play call. I mean, they went for a fake punt in, was it 4th and 3rd and didn't even come close. But then we've seen the trickery plays. We've seen the Wildcat. There is a chance they can lose on a Coach Nagy play call. But what's more than likely, what's the in-game scenario that can really cost a team? It's only two players. It's Mitchell Trubisky and Cody Parkey. That's the thing. Like, if it comes down to a field goal to get to the Super Bowl, do you trust your kicker? And if it comes down to a 2-minute drill and you're matching points for points against Drew Brees, do you trust your quarterback? Can they overcome it and win? Absolutely. It's the NFL. But I'm telling you, put your mortgage on the line. Who do you trust more? What do you want to see more? The Bears go to LA and play the Rams? Try to dictate the game they want to? Or do you want to go against New Orleans in the Superdome and try to keep up with Drew Brees? Because that's what it comes down to. And it's weird because Todd Gurley might be the MVP of the NFL this year, but I trust that defense to contain him. Because these great players are always going to get theirs for the most part, right? But I trust that matchup more. I feel better about the matchup. I will tell you one matchup that has nothing to do with a Super Bowl or an NFC Championship game. I don't want to see the Minnesota Vikings 3 times in a season, if you're a Bears fan especially. We've seen it all the time. After playing a team 2 times and then seeing them one more time, that's when you see the trap happens. That's when you see the team that's lost more often than not end up getting that W. And that's another scenario. Other than that offensive line of that Minnesota Vikings team, that team has a lot of weapons, and they can win a lot of games. But what's unreal, and breaking down all of this Bears talk, is beyond what's going on the field is how likable this group is. How likable this coaching staff is. How much the city has embraced this Bears team. And I think a lot of it has to come from the regimes that came before. It was tough sledding for this organization and its fan base. There were a lot of people who were jumping off ship, and that's saying a lot for one of the charter franchises of the NFL. But when you have the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series, Yeah, now you have the Chicago White Sox trying to go after some of the biggest free agents. The Blackhawks just got done winning 3 Stanley Cups. So the pressure was on the Bears. And for the first time, it doesn't seem like the pressure is getting to them. It seems like they're accepting it and embracing it. So are you crazy for thinking the Bears can win the Super Bowl this year? Absolutely not. This team can make it. The narrative will be from everybody you hear, from the national pundits to your favorite local guy to your favorite podcaster. It's all on the shoulders of Mitchell Trubisky. While that may be true, it's not the only fact. If this team stays healthy, they'll win the war of attrition. If this team doesn't turn over the ball, their defense will give it back to them. If that offense is clicking, that defense will stay fresh. So yes, this Chicago Bears team can win the Super Bowl. But for now, it's nice to just call them the NFC North Divisional Champions. Let us know, how did you celebrate the new Kings of the North? Who do you want to see in the NFL playoffs? And should the Bears be playing their starters? It's one of those things where if you could get that first seed, you got to do it. Stay out of the Superdome. Stay out of the Coliseum for as long as possible. Let us know your thoughts all over social media. I'm on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Download us, like, rate, review, and share us anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, SoundCloud, wherever it's at. Just subscribe and like us at Mercado Airwaves. Want to hear our interviews ad-free and before anybody else with athletes and celebrities? Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. We have a tier just for you. Come play video games with us at twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. And of course, a huge thank you to Munch Art Design for powering us here on the network. Just give them a like on Facebook at Munch Art Design. We talk more NFL next here on Sports from the Couch on the Mercado Airwaves Network. I'm Mike Mercado.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
Another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
How
buddy?
you, sir? I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on.
Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can see all of Nicole's work at typingwhentipsy.wordpress.com. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, MikeMercado2333.
We are getting closer and closer every day to the NFL playoffs, but we had to get through Week 15 first, and it was a huge one for a lot of teams in the NFL, and we were kicked off on Thursday night as the LA Chargers come back and beat the Kansas City Chiefs without Melvin Gordon. The Chargers are right back in there in the AFC West divisional race against Kansas City, and everything is up in the air. Just when you think you have the NFL figured out, something like that happens, but a hell of a game. Then on Saturday night, our first till of Saturday games in the NFL, the Texans beat the Jets 29-22, and the Browns surprised the Broncos at Denver 17-16. The Browns are making believers out of people. Very interesting stuff. Is Baker Mayfield really the savior of Cleveland? Only time will tell, with some good stuff over there. Then Sunday, we had the Cardinals falling to the Falcons 14-40. The Raiders lose to the Bengals 16-30. The Vikings all over the Dolphins 41-17, keeping their playoff hopes alive. The Colts beat the Cowboys 23-0, shutting out the Cowboys the first time they've been shut out in about 15 years. And again, just when you think you have the NFL figured out, the Cowboys losing changes the NFC playoff picture and the AFC East playoff picture. We'll get into that in just a little bit. The Ravens beat the Buccaneers 20-12. Lamar Jackson solidified himself as the starter in Baltimore. The Bills beat the Lions 14-13. Not one, not two, not three, but four running backs for that Buffalo Bills team. And yet they found a way to beat the Detroit Lions. In Chicago, the Bears beat the Green Bay Packers 24-17, clinching the NFC North for the first time since 2010. And the Bears now, after a win over the LA Rams and the Green Bay Packers this week, and with the Rams falling to the Philadelphia Eagles, which we'll get to in just a second, changes everything in the NFC. The Bears have a chance to get a bye week and the second seed if everything shapes out, depending on what happens the next 2 weeks. We'll preview Week 16 in just a little while, but what a game, and we'll be breaking down the Bears-Packers game on Sports from the Couch. Washington over the Jaguars 16-13. The Titans blank out the Giants 17-0. It was the 49ers upsetting the Seattle Seahawks 26-23. The Steelers hold off the Patriots 17-10. And now, again, when you're ready to bury the Steelers, they come out and beat New England. But New England losing 2 straight games now. They haven't lost 2 straight games in December since this dynasty has really started. So some really interesting stuff going on in the AFC. And on Sunday Night Football, like we said earlier, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the LA Rams 30-23. A lot of questions going on right now with this LA Rams offense. Is it too predictable now? While as innovating as it is, the fact that they run up with the same formation every single time, has the NFL figured out the LA Rams? And as soon as we say that, are the LA Rams now going to go on a crazy winning streak and win the Super Bowl? Philadelphia staying around things too, refusing to die, and the Eagles getting a big win without their starting quarterback Carson Wentz. Nick Foles starting. Carson Wentz with a broken back? Like some weird fracture there. Unbelievable, the story that the NFL has, and they were just saying, oh, it was nothing, it was a small injury, and yet the man has a fractured back. But Philadelphia comes out with the big win. And on Monday Night Football, the New Orleans Saints beat the Carolina Panthers 12-9. Why don't we jump into the standings now that we know how it shaked out in Week 15? In the AFC East, the Patriots at 9-5, the Dolphins hanging around at 7-7, the Bills at 5-9, and the Jets at 4-10. In the AFC West, it is the Kansas City Chiefs at 11-3, Chargers at 11-3 in a tight, unbelievable division. The Chargers winning 4 straight, doing it without Melvin Gordon, and honestly doing it without a home crowd as well, because they are not having a great turnout in LA at StubHub Stadium. So what the LA Chargers are doing is pretty amazing, and they're really, I picked them in the beginning of the season to actually get to the Super Bowl, and one of the big reasons is they have a really good defense. They have a reliable quarterback. They have offensive weapons, but if Keenan Allen is out, that might be some issues, but we'll keep an eye on that injury as the week goes on in the NFL. But finishing off in the AFC West, the Broncos at 6-8 and the Oakland Raiders at 3-11. In the AFC North, it's the 8-5-1 Steelers to 8-6 Baltimore Ravens, the 6-7-1 Cleveland Browns, and the 6-8 Cincinnati Bengals. A very competitive division right there in the AFC North. Again, the Bengals without Andy Dalton. The Browns, after firing their head coach, have now won 2 straight, have been competitive in a bunch of games, and they look good. The offense looks good. And Baltimore going with Lamar Jackson, one of the best running games in all of football. And the real thing is they've done it with a bunch of different guys, and Lamar Jackson's really that guy who's the catalyst of it. So some interesting stuff going on in the North. And in the AFC South, it is the Texans at 10-4, the Colts at 8-6, the Titans at 8-6, and the Jaguars at 4-10. In the NFC East, you have the Cowboys at 8-6, the Eagles at 7-7, Washington at 7-7, and the Giants at 5-9. Unbelievable how nobody wants to win this division. And it could honestly be somebody who's at 500 or under 500. Like a 9-7 team can win this division. More than likely to. Now, if you're a Bears fan, that's something you want to see. You would love to see Washington have to come to Chicago or Carolina come to Chicago. But, Dallas didn't look too good either. And that's the thing, right? Dallas is so unpredictable. But that's the whole entire NFL. And now that you have Philadelphia without their starting quarterback, it's up in the air in this division. And not just that, whoever wins it's going to have a tough time going into the playoffs in the NFC. In the NFC West, you have the Rams at 11-3, the Seahawks at 8-6, the Niners at 4-10, and the Arizona Cardinals at 3-11. And this is a perfect example of the NFL changing week to week. The Seahawks were considered one of the dangerous teams in the NFL. You did not want to play Seattle in the playoffs. They don't look that good. There's times where they are just inept on offense, and that's not the Legion of Boom playing in Seattle anymore. So that defense can get burned. So it's interesting to see how the West will play out the rest of the season. The Rams obviously clinching it, but to see if Seattle makes their way into the playoffs. In the NFC South, you have the New Orleans Saints at 12-2, the Carolina Panthers at 6-8, the Atlanta Falcons at 5-9, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 5-9. Probably the most disappointing division in all of football. With the Falcons, I had them actually getting into the Super Bowl as well, only at 5-9. Carolina losing 6 straight. one of the hottest teams in all of the NFL to start off the season. Again, going back to the Seattle comp, this was a team nobody wanted to play. Amazing running game, amazing play option, good defense, reliable head coach. The NFL is fickle, and now Cam Newton's hurt. They don't have any wide receivers, any big-name wide receivers, I should say. And Christian McCaffrey is a superstar, but he can only do so much. And without Cam Newton running the ball and being that second running back and also throwing for 200 yards and making, Devin Funchess look like an all-pro, that team's not going anywhere. And the Saints just ran away with it. And you want to stay away from the Superdome. That's the one thing we've learned in all of these talks about the NFL is if you can stay away from the Superdome and you can make New Orleans travel, you can get them. You can stop that New Orleans offense. You can get to that New Orleans defense. It's going to be tougher at the Superdome. And in the NFC North, we have a new NFC North champion as the Chicago Bears beat the Green Bay Packers, taking their record at 10-4 and clinching the NFC North for the first time since 2010. The Minnesota Vikings come in at 7-6-1. The Green Bay Packers at 5-8-1, and the Detroit Lions at 5-9. That is your look at the NFL standings. Before we continue on with Sports from the Couch, why don't we take a quick look at Week 16 as things start to really narrow down in the NFL and the playoff picture becomes a little clear. And for a lot of you, it's the Fantasy Football Championships. So let's see what matchups we have coming up at Week 16. It starts off on Saturday night as Washington takes on the Tennessee Titans. And your closeout Saturday night game is Ravens versus Chargers. Starting your Sunday kickoff, you have Tampa Bay versus Dallas. The Vikings take on the Lions. Falcons at Carolina. The Texans take on the Eagles. It is Giants versus Colts. Cincinnati takes on Cleveland. It is the Buffalo Bills versus the New England Patriots. The Green Bay Packers visit the New York Jets. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Miami Dolphins. The Chicago Bears travel to the West Coast to take on the San Francisco 49ers. It is the LA Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the New Orleans Saints. And on Sunday Night Football, it is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Seattle Seahawks. To close out Week 16 on Monday Night Football, it is the Denver Broncos versus the Oakland Raiders. A lot of good stuff coming up in Week 16. We have our eyes on that Baltimore Ravens LA Chargers game. It's an interesting matchup because you have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the LA Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the New Orleans Saints. So neither one of these teams in the AFC North can afford this loss. And if you're looking for the LA Chargers, a win for them is a chance to not only jump over the Kansas City Chiefs, but to guarantee home field advantage and to make sure that Kansas City has to play week 1 of the playoffs and you get that bye week. Huge. We're seeing it with the Bears right now. And for Pittsburgh, it's the same exact thing. You're playing to get into the playoffs, to maintain your division lead. For New Orleans, it's pretty much wrapped up to clinch home field advantage, to clinch that number 1 seed. But it's must-wins for both teams in the AFC North. And unfortunately, if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, you know the Chargers are looking for a win just as much as Baltimore is. We have the 49ers and the Bears. This one's big because depending on what happens with that LA Rams-Arizona game, which is interesting because you have two teams that are the two of the better teams in the NFC, two of the top 3 teams, right, in the NFC, and the Rams and the Bears, taking on two of the bottom dwellers of not only the NFC, but the NFC West in the 49ers and the Cardinals. But here's the thing, though. We've seen it with the 49ers and the Cardinals. Cardinals beat the Green Bay Packers. The 49ers just beat the Seattle Seahawks. You have to come ready to play. These are still paid professionals, and at this point, they're playing for their jobs next year. So if you're the Chicago Bears, there's no rest for the weary. You have to come out guns ablaze. And if somehow in a division matchup, the Cardinals are able to beat the Rams, and you get that victory, you have to play everybody in Week 17. But that was your look at Week 15 of the NFL, what you got coming to you for Week 16, and everything that is the NFL playoff picture. We got a lot more here on Sports from the Couch on the Mercado Airwaves Network. I'm Mike Mercado.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
Another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
How
buddy?
you, sir? I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can see all of Nicole's work at typingwhentipsy.wordpress.com. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, MikeMercado2333.
Late last week, I was able to interview the man herself, former WWE SmackDown Live Women's Champion Becky Lynch, about Ronda Rousey, her rise to stardom, a possible main event at WrestleMania, and so much more. In case you missed it, we're going to play it right now here on Sports from the Couch. Enjoy our conversation with the man herself, Becky Lynch, here on Mercado Airwaves with Mike Mercado. Enjoy. Becky, how's it going? Thank you for joining us here in Chicago. How are you?
My pleasure. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for taking some time for us, champ. We know you're super busy. You got a crazy weekend ahead of you. But first things first, congratulations on the Marine 6. That's some awesome stuff. The success of it, dropping digitally, Amazon, all that crazy stuff. How you feeling? You must be on top of the world after knowing all that hard work going into filming. That movie kind of paid off, and you're getting good response from everybody who's watched it.
Absolutely. Becky Lynch, the man, is just taking over the world right now. Taking over WWE. She's taking over the movies. What else? What else have we got?
Social media?
Social media. She's taking over social media, I'll tell you what.
Becky, one thing that we have here in Chicago all the time is the fan response from, those who are from Irish heritage here in the city of Chicago. It's so huge in our city. How important is it for you whenever you're walking out there to really represent that great fighting nation of Ireland every time your music hits, or when you're in a movie premiere, or when you're doing one of these interviews, knowing that an entire nation is rooting for you and living vicariously through you?
Absolutely. It feels amazing, right? And I used to live in Chicago, and I studied in Chicago, so I have a special place in my heart for that great, great city. And I think when you look at the trajectory of where I've come from and where I'm going, that all started at Money in the Bank in Chicago. If it wasn't for those great people cheering me on the way that they did every time I stepped foot on that ladder, I don't know that we would see that we would see my popularity surge as much. So I am completely indebted to the people of Chicago. Cannot wait to come back on the 26th of December in the Allstate Arena in Chicago. I just love any chance I can get. Amazing people. And one of my favorite breakfast places in the world is Becky.
Awesome. That's what we love to hear, because I think I was actually there at that Money in the Bank, and the one thing that I loved hearing from the audience, especially with you, was it wasn't just men, and it wasn't just adult women. It was kids. It was boys. It was girls. It was everybody. Everybody was behind that movement. And this is a city that loves its hero. This is a city that doesn't have celebrities. It has athletes. It has heroes. It has people that are blue collar. And I think you've always kind of represented that. How important has that been for you too? Not only everybody knows you're the man, but when you see a kid, a girl or a boy who doesn't think that way, that just thinks, I like this person. How important is that for you when you're going out there every single time?
That means the world to me, because and what I like to remind people is that if I can do this, and there's absolutely no reason that anybody can do this, because I failed PE, I wasn't athletic, I wasn't a good-looking kid, there was nothing special about me when I was younger, so I just like to be able to remind people that if you've got a dream, no matter what it is, no matter how far-fetched it is, no matter how silly it sounds to you or to anybody else, you just believe in yourself a little bit, or a lot, hopefully a lot, but you just start off with a little bit. So you start believing in yourself just a little bit. Little boys, little girls, whatever it is, just practice believing in yourself, and you'll achieve whatever it is you want to. I don't know if that sounds super cheesy, but it's true.
Well, it's coming from literally the man, somebody who's taken over this world, somebody who's champion, who's on our television, who's doing everything that
we all knew was possible when you, like you just said, put the hard work into it, the talent's there. It's all about perseverance. And I kind of wonder if that has to do with that old saying of iron strengthens iron. And are you one of these people where you came up throughout a time when the women are just kicking ass right now and they're trying to follow your footsteps right now? Like, is that something that motivates you and keeps you strong every single time that you have to perform and you have to do these media roles, knowing that you're representing not only the division, but there's somebody at the gym right now trying to take your spot in all aspects of media and entertainment?
That drives me to no end. Because when I came in, I remember saying that I wanted to main event WrestleMania. I said I wanted to make sure that women's wrestling was the coolest thing on TV. And people said to me, it's nice to have dreams, but be realistic. Well, we're in 2018. How realistic is that now? It's pretty freaking realistic because women's wrestling is the coolest thing on TV. Becky Lynch, more specifically, is the coolest thing on TV. And it looks like, and I do dare say that Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey should be the main event of WrestleMania.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
Another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
How
buddy?
you, sir? I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on.
Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can see all of Nicole's work at typingwhentipsy.wordpress.com. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, MikeMercado2333.
And I want to get into that. I know you've heard it 1,000 times, and I don't know how you're feeling about it, hearing radio guys and Radioheads talk about it, but we'll get into that in just a second. I want to make sure everybody here also checks out the Marine 6, and don't forget December 16th. You talk about people are so excited about Ronda Rousey, but how about the fact that Charlotte Flair is going to be in the ring with Asuka, who's going to be in the ring with the man in what I'm already guessing, I'm calling it, even if it's not the last one on the card, the main event of TLC that's coming up. But speaking of Ronda, speaking of Becky, speaking of the fact they're going to be in the same arena at the same time, there's a certain a little event that comes up every single year that's some people call it like a showcase of the immortals, where dreams become realities and legends are made. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's WrestleMania. Becky versus Ronda as the main event sounds pretty good to me, huh?
Pretty freaking sweet, doesn't it?
Pretty interesting, huh? So what?
Yeah.
Tell me, Becky. Tell me. I need to know, because it's one of the things that we love about you. There's truth to every type of energetic statement you make. So can we expect the best main event in WrestleMania history when it's Ronda Rousey versus the man Becky Lynch to close out this WrestleMania?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I do. I go out there and I make history every single time, and I deliver on what I say. I say that I'm going to do something, and I freaking do it. And I said that at Evolution. I said this is going to be the best pay-per-view. I said this is going to be. I said I'm going to steal the show. I'm going to have match of the year, and that's what happened. I said that I was going to be champ. I said that I was going to own Charlotte Flair. I said I was going to be the best thing in all of sports entertainment, and I made it happen. So if I want to make the main event of WrestleMania and make it be the best match in all of history, the most excited, most anticipated match in all of WWE history, then I'm going to make sure that happens.
I think we can all agree that is what we're rooting for. That is what we're sending out to the universe. And it seems like you are making that path, just seems so
just so easy and fun and energetic, and it's just something that we all take. And here's something that I think a lot of people appreciate, Becky, is we're seeing you grow in front of our eyes. And I just had on Joanna Jędrzejczyk on the show last week, and one thing we talked about a lot was, as the man, as the champion, as one of the main faces of this company, how important has it been for you to not only be representing, men, women, but also realizing you understand your body, your health, where you're at, and how far you can push it, if you could push it a little bit further, where your max is, because you have so much responsibility on your shoulders now as the man.
That's the thing, is that people have no idea how many layers that there are to peel back on Becky Lynch, right? Already people were surprised to see this come out of me. But we're just scratching the surface. We're just scratching the surface, because this is just the initial breakthrough from all the years of frustration pent up. We haven't even scratched the surface of what I'm going to do, but it's an exciting time to be around.
And then with that in mind, how excited are you for what 2019 brings? Like you said, the world is in your hands right now, and you could do whatever you want. This idea that Becky Lynch is possibly not only the main event of WrestleMania, but could be the main event of WrestleMania 2 years from now, 3 years from now, from the Indies to NXT to now. Can you just put into words that moment when this Sunday you go out to the ring and realize this is just one of many times that you're going to be the closing act, hopefully the closing act of 1,000 shows, showing why you're the guy?
It's not something that I take lightly, and it's not something that I take for granted. So that's why every single time I go out there, every time I do an interview, every time I post something on Twitter, every time I step outside my front door, I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking how I can get better, how I can drum up more interest, how I can entertain the people, how I can get people to care about seeing this, not seeing me slap the head off whoever it is that I'm in there against. It's a constant thought in my head of how am I moving forward.
If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can see all of Nicole's work at typingwhentipsy.wordpress.com. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, MikeMercado2333.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
Another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
Hey,
buddy?
sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on.
Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support. Is it exciting? Like, I know you guys are so super busy, but do you guys get excited when you get the opportunity like you are right now, where you were on Ariel Helwani's show yesterday and you're telling everybody your spotlight, and this is what I appreciate about you, Becky, is everybody's attention when it was the Ronda thing or the Charlotte thing was on them, and they were expecting this is their showcase. But the truth of the matter is this, and I'm a fan of both MMA and sports entertainment, I'm a fan of both you ladies, but the fact remains was Ronda was stepping into your arena, and the attention was supposed to be about her, but fact remains is you were the commander in chief in this situation. You're the one that is representing all those hard years, all those trainings. Every single time you took a bump, nobody saw it in front of 50 people, in front of 100,000, it doesn't matter. And I thought that got kind of lost. How big of a motivation or mental note was that of you when that moment came?
Because here's the thing, is that I've never known what it's like to be chosen. I've never known what it's like to be entitled to things. I've only known what it's like to work for things, and to scratch and claw for things. But these people, they're used to being handed everything on a silver platter, and they expect it. I don't expect anything. I don't expect anything except to reap the rewards of the hard work that I've done. What these people are doing, what the Charlotte Flairs and the Ronda Rouseys are doing, is they're expecting to reap the rewards of the hard work that I've done. And they're all warming themselves on the fire that I've created, and they're probably calling each other up, and they're bitching about me and what I've said on Twitter or what I've said in the ring, because they know that it's the truth, and they know that they can't match me. They can't match me in the ring. They can't match me on the mic. They can't match my intellectual wit. They don't have a hope. They know that they can't match me. And as soon as people stop handing them things, then they are going to be lost, because they won't be getting anything. They don't know what it's like to be the underdog. They don't know what it's like to be the one that was overlooked time and time again. They don't know what it was like to not be born superior. They've all been born tough. Charlotte talks about how she's genetically tough, right? How she's genetically superior. Ronda talks about how her ma was trying to make her the best in the world from the time she was knee-high to a grasshopper. I don't know what that was like. All I know is that I was made tough, and I have proven to the world time and time again that you can be born tough all you like, but being made tough is way more impressive and it's way more long-lasting.
And that is why Becky Lynch is Chicago's adopted daughter. Make sure you guys watch TLC on WWE Network. December 16th, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Asuka TLC match, and the Marine 6 Close Quarters. Check it out everywhere. Blu-ray, DVD, digital. Go to Amazon. The Last Kicker, the man herself, is pretty awesome in that movie, and many more to come, I'm sure. Twitter is at Becky Lynch WWE. She's the hottest thing going, and well-deserved. Becky, we really appreciate you making some time for us. Chicago loves you, and before you get out, please, the floor is yours. Whatever you want to tell to your city, it's all yours. The man talked to her city of Chicago. Go for it.
Chicago, I can't express enough love for you, for every single one of you, every single T-shirt that you wear, every sign that you hold, every time that you scream the man's name. I appreciate you. I love you. I can't wait to be back. Thank you.
Happy holidays, Becky. Good luck. Congratulations. I can't wait to talk to you next time you're in town. If not, we'll talk to you after Mania season when you absolutely burn the world down.
Absolutely. Thanks a million.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. Don't forget to follow us all over the universe. I'm on Twitter at mmercado2333. You can follow the network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. If you're a fan of us here, follow Nicole at Typey When Tipsy, and follow Alex at Mercado21 Alex. Follow our pop culture show, The Good Brothers, on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. We're all on Instagram also. Alex is at Mercado2121. Nicole's at Typey When Tipsy. I'm at Mike Mercado2333. And you can follow our true crime show at Murder, Mysteries, and More. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Mike Mercado2333, or search Mercado Airwaves Network. There you'll be notified every time we upload a new episode or a interview with an athlete and celebrity. Don't forget to comment on the section below and be part of the conversation. Come play video games with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Download us anywhere you get your favorite podcasts, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, SoundCloud, at Mercado Airwaves. And please like, rate, review, and shares. It really helps us out. You can get our interviews ad-free and before anybody else with athletes and celebrities just like Becky Lynch at Patreon, patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. And, of course, a huge thank you to Munch Art Design for powering us here at Mercado Airwaves. Just give them a like on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Enjoy all the games. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will see you on the next episode of Sports from the Couch.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
It's another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
Hey,
buddy?
sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on.
Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can see all of Nicole's work at typingwhentipsy.wordpress.com. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, MikeMercado2333.